I stared at the screen, the email swimming before my eyes as the weight of it all settled in. The subject line read, "Urgent, meeting with Blake." A sharp wave of anxiety rolled through me. My fingers trembled as I opened it. "Be in my office at 2 p.m. sharp. Don't be late. Blake." That was it. No greeting. No context. Just an order, signed by Blake, the CEO's son and the nightmare of Orion Systems. The clock showed 1:45 p.m. I inhaled slowly, steadying myself. I'd taken time off recently to help my father through his treatment, and Blake had clearly taken note. He saw me as a liability, and he hadn't been subtle about it. By 1:58 p.m., I stood outside his office, smoothing down my shirt before knocking. "Enter," came his clipped reply. He sat behind a massive desk, a permanent sneer etched into his features. The floor-to-ceiling windows behind him showcased the city skyline, wealth, power, detachment. "Dylan," he said flatly, "you're terminated." "What?" My voice cracked. "Why?" "You're a drain on payroll," he said. "Too many early departures. Productivity's shot. Time's up." My pulse thudded. "Please, Blake. My dad's critically ill. I need this job. I promise I'll make up for it." He leaned back, clearly amused. "You should have left months ago. You're done here. Pack your things. Security's on standby." The humiliation burned through me, but I managed a nod. "Thanks for the chance," I muttered before walking out. Back at my desk, the room buzzed like I wasn't even there. I could feel the stares, hear the whispers. "Blake let him go. Another one. He's cleaning house again. Brutal." I kept my head down, gathering my things. I didn't meet anyone's eyes. Linda, one of the senior devs, touched my shoulder softly. "This isn't right," she said. I gave a weak smile. "I know. But there's no fighting it. You could talk to HR. Or even Martin." "No use," I interrupted. "Blake's got his ear. If you need anything, please reach out," she offered gently. At the exit, security waited like clockwork. I walked past my colleagues for the last time, heart hollow. Outside, the city felt colder than ever. That night, I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling while memories rushed back. 6 months of dread. Ever since Blake joined Orion, the place had turned into something unrecognizable. He had strutted in like he owned it, gutting departments and shifting policies at will. One Monday, as I was buried in debugging, he clapped his hands loudly. "New rule," he announced. "Overtime's mandatory starting today. We've got a launch coming. I want everyone giving 110%. A collective groan followed. Everyone looked exhausted. Linda tried to reason with him. "People are reaching burnout. We can't keep this pace." He smirked. "You write code. I run the show. Anyone unhappy can leave." Silence followed, but resentment simmered. The atmosphere darkened. Whispers replaced laughter. Smiles disappeared. In the break room one afternoon, Mike sat beside me, his face drawn. "This place is falling apart. You hear about Jenny?" I asked. He nodded. "She quit this morning. Blake drove her to the edge." "I'm thinking of leaving too," he confessed. I didn't blame him. But I didn't have the luxury. Not with Dad's mounting medical bills. One evening, I came home to find Dad hunched at the table, thinner than ever. "You're looking worn out," he said quietly. "I'm fine," I lied. "No, you're not. I see it. You're trying to hold everything together for me, but it's costing you." His words hit hard. I took his hand. "I'll manage," I whispered. A few days later, during a tense all-hands meeting, Blake snapped. "One deadline missed, and you all crumble. Pathetic. If pressure breaks you, leave." At the time, I felt crushed. But looking back, maybe losing that job was the beginning of something better. The weeks that followed were uncertain. I applied to every listing I could find, the anxiety about Dad never far behind. Then one morning, I saw it. Nova Pixel, a rival studio, was hiring developers. My heart leapt. This was my shot. I applied immediately. A week later, I had an interview. The moment I stepped into Nova's office, I could feel the difference: natural light, open space, and a sense of welcome I hadn't felt in years. I met with Evelyn, the CEO, and Miss Tran, the development lead. "Glad to meet you, Dylan," Evelyn said, shaking my hand. "Thank you for the chance," I replied. Miss Tran smiled. "We'd love to hear about your journey." I shared my story, what Orion had become, the pressure, my passion for meaningful, human-centered work. "I want to build something worthwhile, in a place that values people." Evelyn nodded. "That's exactly the kind of energy we want here. Welcome aboard." Relief hit me like a wave. On my first day, I was introduced to Maya, Eli, and another Linda, a different one. They welcomed me with genuine warmth. The vibe was collaborative, kind. For the first time in a long while, I felt seen. One evening, I stayed late, overwhelmed with worry. Miss Tran passed by and paused. "You doing okay?" I hesitated. "My dad needs surgery. I can't cover it." She didn't blink. "We'll handle it." "What?" "You're part of this team. We take care of our own." I was speechless. After everything I'd been through, I had forgotten what basic kindness felt like. Tears slipped down my face. Thanks to their support, Dad got the surgery. I sat with him through recovery, watching him gain strength each day. Back at Nova, my team stood behind me. Maya brought meals. Eli covered my tasks. They even started a fundraiser. "Dylan," Evelyn said one afternoon, "how's your father doing?" "He's getting better every day," I said, eyes shining. "Thank you, all of you." She smiled. "That's what we do for family." As Dad recovered, I threw myself into work. During a critical product launch, we were hit with a nasty bug. Instead of panic, I rallied the team. "We'll get through this, together." And we did. The launch went out on schedule. Evelyn gathered us afterward. "Phenomenal work. Dylan, your leadership was outstanding. We're lucky to have you." "I couldn't have done it without everyone here," I said, filled with pride. Nova Pixel became more than a workplace. It became home. Meanwhile, chaos brewed back at Orion. Blake's heavy hand had driven talent away. Morale was shattered. Then came the news. Martin, the CEO and Blake's father, had recovered and returned. At an emergency board meeting, he stood before them. "Blake's leadership has damaged this company. He's being relieved of all responsibilities, effective immediately." He turned to the board. "We need to earn back trust. I'll resume the role temporarily. Together, we rebuild." For the first time in months, hope sparked at Orion. But my path was no longer tied to that place. I had found something far greater: purpose, peace, and people who saw me for who I truly was.